So we're going to break it down with business journalist Ann Berry. She is the founder of the advisory firm Threadneedle and has now become somebody who we rely on for really sound and important context into what's going on in the market. So oil prices fell today ahead of the president's announcement of whatever the unleashing of the economic D-Day is going to mean for Iran. What does the market consider? I mean, it feels like the market has priced in all sorts of lunacy from what's happened with this Iran war, but this may be a level that the market was not prepared for.
And it's a little counterintuitive because what we've typically seen is when measures are placed against Iran, the implication is the Strait of Hormuz will continue to be restricted. And as a result, oil provided to the world will be restricted, which you'd expect to create upward pressure on oil prices. So here's what the market thinks is going on right now. Oil prices have gone up in recent weeks. Traders seem to be saying there's some profit, let's take it. And then we're going to have to sit tight and wait and see for the next chapter of roller coaster, which is definitely coming. The White House saying sanctions not only on Iran, but possibly on those seen to be aiding and abetting Iran. So it looks like broader economic action. And I think actually oil prices are going to start going the other way.
Wow. Going back up?
Going back up, I think so.
All right, buckle up for that. Let's talk about the other economic front in the U.S. Global effort on trade and economic measures. That's, of course, whatever is happening with Canada. I don't know if we can call it a trade war, but how are the markets reacting to those 50% imposed Canadian tariffs and Canada's planned retaliation?
Are you having deja vu? I'm having deja vu when it comes to these tariffs. Right, it's all over again. This was last week's news. There were going to be tariffs. There was a pause. It's back. It looks as though the U.S. is forging ahead with the tariffs against Canada. Canada has come back and said, OK, we're going to meet you dollar for dollar. That means steel, dairy, electronics, automobile components. So to put this in context, the United States' top two trading partners are Mexico, number one, Canada, number two. So this is meaningful. Tariffs on Canada is real news for us as we think about how it's going to hit our pockets. I happen to think that this, rather like the other big tariffs, get renegotiated. So this is roller coaster number two from the market's perspective.
Yes.
Boy. All right. And Barry, always great to have you, friend.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in Shikha Jain. She is the lead partner for the North American consumer arm of the consulting firm Simon-Kucher. Thank you so much for joining us. So hundreds of Canadian goods are subject to these 50% tariffs. What does that mean for the average American consumer here in the U.S.? Where will it hit us most?
I think it's important to put this 50% number into context. First of all, this recent round of tariffs is only impacting roughly 5% of Canadian exports into the U.S. So it's not on a large number of goods. However, they do come on the back of pre-existing tariffs. So this time around, we're talking about Canadian wine, alcohol, dairy, certain clothing items, jewelry, perfume, wigs, candles, hockey equipment, fishing rods. So it's a pretty long list, very broad-reaching impact on certain items. However, 50%, while it seems like a big number, we have to remember that it's not going to be shared by or burdened by the U.S. consumer. Ideally, this is divided amongst the entire supply chain.
So Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised to retaliate dollar for dollar against the new tariffs. Which industries do you think will be hurt most by this?
There's a lot of impact on the U.S. producers that export into Canada. I think similar items around food, daily living, maybe clothing, some things that the U.S. is very well known for will impact the Canadian consumer. However, what is more concerning is that if this continues to escalate, at the end of the day, the individuals that bear the burden are the everyday consumers like you and me and everyone else in the U.S. population.
So obviously our administration is betting that Canada is going to fold at some point because they need us more than we need them. I mean, nearly 72% of Canada's goods of their exports went to the U.S. last year. Is that how you think our administration is looking at it? Do they need a trade deal more than the U.S. does?
It is likely, and yes, because we are such an important trading partner for Canada and for Canada's economy. However, that does go both ways. whatever the outcome of the trade deal will be, we have to remember that tariffs has been a merry-go-round. We don't really know where it will land. So ideally, it will land in the favor of the American consumer that's already seeing very high prices and dealing with inflation from many years of just high input costs, but also this recent round of tariffs that we've had for the last couple of years. So difficult to say where it will all land, but at the end of the day, I think who burdens the cost is the average consumer.
And that's on top of how we have to pay more for goods because of increased fuel prices.
Yes.
So we're layering
Exactly
these
right.
things
Which is
here.
what we've been doing already for the last year since this war started. Shikha Jain, thank you very much for the context. Appreciate it.